Alright guys, welcome back. GM Light here. Today we're going to be talking about the Pet Sematary Prequel, kind of some of the updates that we got just recently. We just got a poster, the official premise, official release date, even though 2 out of the 3 were pretty much all but confirmed. And as far as the title, Pet Sematary Bloodlines. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if it really makes a difference or is kind of an indication of what kind of movie it's going to be. We all know that it's going to be taking place back in the 60s. It's going to be about Judd Crandall. They actually gave us the official synopsis, which I will read. And it pretty much reads as this. In 1969, a young Judd Crandall has dreams of leaving his hometown of Ludlow, Maine behind, but soon discovers sinister secrets buried within and is forced to confront a dark family history that will forever keep him connected to Ludlow. Banding together, Judd and his childhood friends must fight an ancient evil that has gripped Ludlow since its founding, and once on Earth has the power to destroy everything in its path. Now, some stills came out. It looks pretty obvious that it's going to be some kind of prequel to that 2019 remake. The sign looks exactly identical to what it looked like in that movie, and I assume that they're probably reusing the set, and I'm not upset about it. It makes sense, especially taking place in 1969. It kind of makes sense in terms of the timeline. That's when Judd Crandall will be maybe in his early 20s, mid-20s, and then by the time we catch back up with him in the remake, he's at that point about 80. This is a thing I feel a little bit mixed on, because there's a little bit of the been there, done that. We know the story of Timmy Baterman. We kind of know that whole situation, which is what I assume is going to be happening, but I do think that there's a lot of angles to this that we could explore. We could see new things about it. We could have secrets revealed and kind of get a little bit more in depth on what exactly happened there. Especially too, they don't really go into it that much in either of the movies, but in the book there's a lot more of a sinister side to the Baterman story. They go a lot more in depth. You learn a lot more. He has more of a personality. He talks. He has that evil side to him where he's revealing everybody's secrets. I think that kind of manipulative, disturbed side of that story could definitely play into effect. It could unravel the town. I'd love to see how this burial site has an effect on the town. It's clear that it's pretty much a well-kept secret, but at the same time, everybody plays a part in it, and I'm sure that it's because at one point they learned the hard way. I think in that way, it's going to play a lot more of a dramatized version of the Baterman story. I don't think that it's going to just end with him and his father burning and dying. I think that it'll have a massive impact on the entire town. Maybe Timmy Baterman will run amok in the town, cause some problems, kill some people, because they'll have to do something to justify having an entire movie revolving around this. I think it's there. I definitely think that they could expand on the story, and there's a way to make it kind of tie more into the lore of Ludlow, give Judd a little bit more of a fleshed out story, and I think that would all work to the movie's favor, to be honest. Another thing that kind of strikes me about why I think that this is probably most likely a prequel to that remake is that you have that mask and the poster showing that it really is tying back to that more recent movie rather than the original 1980s movie. I wasn't sure if the prequel is going to be set maybe in the 30s and kind of go more into the backstory of that version of Judd Crandall, the more probably popular version. But they do show some of the flashbacks. I think that there's a way that they can kind of get around stuff because they do show that in both versions, but obviously they cast new actors. They have different ways of showing it. I wasn't sure before I saw this if they were going to shackle themselves to either version of the movies or if they were just going to go kind of just based off the general story, the book, and just a brand new timeline prequel and everything. Doesn't seem like they're doing that though. It seems like they are tying it to that remake. They also released some pictures. It kind of shows that the mass kind of town hysteria probably revolving around this, which is again what I mentioned. I hope that they play into that and make it seem like there is more of an event than anything rather than keeping it just smaller scale. It shows that this did have a massive impact, and you know, you got to give a reason for why Judd feels like he can never leave this town. It's kind of tough too because you have that perception that in the book, the movie, pretty much every version, there's a part of you that kind of feels like, Judd, why would you show him this? And he even knows, but you got to find a way to justify why Judd would show that cat coming back to life and why he would think that there would be a differentiation between a human and a cat. Overall, though, these details get me excited. I'm excited to see what they do. Part of me wishes that they would push the story a little bit forward, kind of tell a different, new kind of story. Like I've mentioned in a previous video, maybe even have Ellie from that 80s movie all grown up going back to Ludlow. But I'm rooting for this movie. I'm interested. I love Pet Sematary. I love the book. I love the movies, so I hope that it does well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear. I'm GM Light. Have a good one.